Right, hello. This video is going to be focusing more on ankle, calf, lower leg mobility. So start laying on your back. And so settle in, close your eyes or steady your gaze. And right away, you're welcome to throw right hand on your belly, left hand around your chest. And can you just start to notice your physical body? Is there any lingering tension that's not serving you that you can let go of? Tension in your face, your neck, your shoulders. Tension through the abdomen, the core. Tension through the pelvis, the legs. And how's your emotions? Maybe correlating how thoughts, busyness in the mind correlate with the feeling in your body. And can you start to bring ease by bringing your awareness into an intentional breath? And using your breath to start to stimulate that more rest and digest part of your nervous system, the parasympathetic. So you start to maybe take those first few intentional breaths of your day. Start to feel your diaphragm contract and expand on your inhale, creating that rise of your abdomen, the broadening of your rib cage. And as you exhale, your diaphragm relaxes, pressing the air, carbon dioxide back into the air. And just take about 6 or so more breaths. Not rushing or forcing, just really seeing the space you have to breathe. Maybe it's not as deep as you want it, but each breath, can you maybe find a little bit more space or find a little bit more ease? Breathe into the side body, the back body, the front body. And keep this ease, this fluidity with you through our practice. So we often forget about the lower part of the leg, the ankle, the foot. And a lot of that mobility translates up our kinetic chain through the knee, through the hip. So just starting to explore a little bit of that upper portions of the chain. So bring your right shin so that it's parallel to the ceiling. Keep your right knee stacked right over your right hip. This focuses on internal and external rotation. So like a salt and pepper grinder. Okay, imagine you're just kind of twisting that. Okay, so letting yourself find internal rotation as the shin swivels towards the right. Finding external rotation as the shin swivels towards the left. And see if you can just explore your end ranges of motion, where you're stopped by your tissue and you can't go any further unless you move another part of your body. Sometimes this can be frustrating. Okay, so try to approach it without judgment. Noticing as we move through the body, side to side is different. And you might notice a correlation, especially if you do have a little bit of a lingering injury, a little niggle. Yoga is great practice just to bring awareness to your movement patterns if you move slow. Okay, so just noticing that right side, and then you're going to grab behind your right leg, interlace your hands behind your hamstring, and go ahead, just extend that leg up to the ceiling any amount, and just start to draw some circles through your right ankle. Feeling different lines of pull, and then just try to go the other way. Again, exploring what feels like the end ranges of motion. And then see if you can spread all 5 toes wide on the right foot. And then place your right foot down. And we'll just switch. Left shin parallel to the ceiling. Okay. Left knee stays anchored over the left hip. External rotation, swiveling your shin towards your right. Internal rotation, swiveling your shin towards your left. So again, just exploring each end range. And what's happening is the head of the femur is just rotating in the acetabulum, the socket of your hip. And there's lots of factors when it comes to your range of motion. You have structural, what you were born with, how your bones are shaped and placed in the joints. And you have a little bit more of the soft tissue stuff, so your tendons, your ligaments, your fascia. And then you have more of the muscular. Lots of contributing factors, not just needing to stretch more when it comes to range of motion. Our goal is to balance strength and mobility. You interlace your hands behind your left leg. Maybe take that opposite awkward grip. Extend your left leg up to the ceiling any amount, and just start to draw circles with your left ankle. Okay, go the opposite direction. Maybe there's some crickling, cracking. Try to move slow. Okay, and then see if you can spread all 5 toes on this foot wide. Is it different on this foot? And then hug your knees in towards your chest, give a little squeeze. Okay, grab the backs of your legs, tuck your chin, roll yourself up. Okay, come onto your hands and your knees into tabletop. Now in your tabletop, I want you to tuck all 10 toes under. Okay, big toes might come together to touch. Even try to get your pinky toe tucked under. Okay, we're coming into a toe stretch, or the stretch for the plantar fascia or the bottoms of feet. You might have your hands supporting you because this might be really intense. And just remember, there's structural compensations or issues in our body too that we can't push past. So if it's bone on bone, you're not going to get any more mobility or flexibility out of yourself. Okay, so feel like you can stay in that comfortable space. If it feels okay, you don't feel anything, maybe bring your hands onto your thighs. But just always know that forcing something that your body's not wanting to go into is not going to be beneficial. Okay, let's take a few more rounds of breath here. And then come on forward, untuck your toes. Okay, toes can point back. So maybe you start to sit back onto your heels, just any amount. You might feel the stretch through the front of the shins, or again, be restricted by structural shapes through the ankle. Or you might be able to sit all the way back onto your heels. If you are, maybe you lean back a little bit, maybe the shins just come to a hover. Again, not forcing, just more exploring with curiosity versus force. Right, come on forward. You can untuck the toes. Now I encourage you to use blocks today. So if you have blocks or books or something you can use under the hands, it's going to take the load more into the legs versus the shoulders as we come into a downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under, lift your hips up. Okay, you can start to pedal out the legs. So bend the left knee, press through the right heel. Switch, bend the right leg, press through the left. You might keep the tippy toes lifted, the balls of the feet rooted as you do this, and you might feel that a bit more through the back of the leg, the calf. You might press both heels down. Just a few more breaths, stretching the calves. If you haven't done down dog in a while, this might be surprising. Okay, now come high onto your tippy toes. And then root your heels back down. So just try that. A few little heel lifts, calf raises. One more time, heels lift. And then they lower. Now bend your knees as much as you can. Start to walk your hands towards your feet at the back of your mat. You can ragdoll forward here. So again, a deep bend to the knees, almost so that your low ribs, your chest could almost rest on your legs. Just let your head pour to the floor. Give a yes and no. You might grab opposite elbows. This might feel really nice on the back body. Okay, and then bend your knees like you're going to sit in a chair. Tuck your tailbone under, round your spine up, one vertebrae at a time. Keep rounding as you come up through the mid-back, the neck. Let your head be the last to come up. Good. All right, hello. And then hands on your hips. Come onto your tippy toes. Okay, now notice the want to maybe roll to the outer edges of the feet, the pinky toes. Can you really work on driving the big toes down? And then lower the heels. So really drive through the big toe on both feet, lower down. Okay, can you keep the shoulders, the neck relaxed as you do this? Okay. Can you find a little bit more core? Think of zipping up the inner thighs, lifting through the low belly. Okay, let's try one more, just lifting and lowering. Good. And then come on to your tippy toes. Okay. You can have your arms beside you as if you're going to go running. So you can start to draw your weight into your left leg. We're going to tiptoe forward to the top of the mat. So bring your right knee up to 90, tiptoe forward. Okay, so driving into that big toe mound as best as you can. Okay, stay on your tippy toes. I'm really focusing. You should be too. And then let's walk back. Okay, so try to find one spot that's maybe not moving to stare at. Okay, and just do your best. It's always different every day. Okay, try to pick up that leg that's lifting. Drive down through the big toe. And then we'll go back to the top. Okay, this is something that I always do as well before every run almost. Just to activate through the ankle, the calves, and the feet. Okay. All right, lower your heels down. All right, and then spread your toes wide. And you can take a block in between the heels here, okay? Or you can just imagine if you had a block. So I often do this without a block too. So the block is there. Just to imagine you're kind of hugging the block in with the legs, like you're giving it a little bit of a squeeze. Hands can be on your hips. Bend your knees. Now look at your feet and just try to keep your feet nice and relaxed. Okay, so the big toe is rooted, the side of the pinky toe is rooted, and you're just going to keep the feet in that shape as you draw the knees in towards one another. And then as you bring them back to center. So can you imagine this movement coming more from the hips and less from the ankles? Okay, doesn't feel like much is happening here, but we're just kind of trying to isolate movement at the hip instead of always making the foot and ankle take over. Let's just take a few more rounds. Feet stay pretty relaxed, rooted. One more time, knees drawing together. Good. All right, stand tall, ditch that block. Okay, come to the top of your mat, hands back to your hips, bend your knees, bring your left knee up to 90, and then start to step your left foot back into a lunge position. Okay, so back heels lifted. Okay, can you find neutral through the pelvis? What does it feel like to tuck the tailbone? What does it feel like to really tilt forward? Try to find neutral, back of the head in line with the back of your sacrum. Hands can stay on the hips if you want, or they can start to reach forward. Now, can you come high to your right tippy toes as best as you can? Slowly lower your left knee to a hover, keeping neutral through your pelvis, and then come back up. Both heels stay lifted. Let's try one more. Lower. Come back up. Lower your right heel down. Plant your left foot, warrior two, open your body up. Now straighten your front leg, reach up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale back to your lunge. One more time, reach up. Inhale, look up. Exhale back to your lunge. Last time, stay here. Lift your right heel up. Gaze can be over your front fingertips. Can your front knee be in line with your front toes, pointing in the same direction? Back leg is strong. You're rooted through all four corners of your back foot. Feel some shakiness. Find your core. Last breath. Lower your right heel. Step back to the top of your mat. Pause for a breath. Hands come back to your hips. Bring your right knee up to 90. Slowly and controlled, step your right foot to the back of your mat for a lunge position. Okay, so back heels lifted. Feel what it feels like to anteriorly tilt the pelvis. Exaggerate that. And then posteriorly tilt. Tuck the tailbone. Maybe feel that hip flexor. Okay, one more time. Anterior tilt. Posterior tilt. Find in between, so neutral. Arms might reach forward. Lift your left heel. Slowly lower your right knee to a hover, not losing that neutrality through the pelvis. Come back up. Keep your left heel lifted. One more time, lower. Come on up. Plant your left heel. Warrior two, open yourself up. So align your front knee and your front toes. Wiggle the foot around if you need. Straighten your left leg. Give it a breather. Reach up as you inhale. Back into your lunge as you exhale. One more time. Press. Reach up as you inhale. Back to your warrior two as you exhale. Stay. Left heel lifts. Press into your right foot. So keep that back leg strong. To find the core, imagine you're squeezing your feet together. Feel the low belly lift. Grow tall through the crown of your head. and calm your breath. And lower your left heel, step to the top of your mat. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Close your eyes. Find a nice rooted posture. And try to spread all 10 toes wide and then root them down. Feel your feet. Find a balanced weight through all 4 corners. So do you sit more in the heels? Do you sit more in the balls, the forefoot? You reach your arms up, look up as you inhale. Fold over your legs as you exhale. Halfway lift, chest reaches forward. Step back into plank as you breathe out. Take a full breath in plank. And then take a child's pose as you breathe out. Toes can point back. Maybe your hips go all the way to your heels. Or maybe you're restricted through the knees or front of the ankles. And you just let your chest hang, reaching your hips back any amount. Just a few breaths here. All right, come on up through tabletop. Lay on your back. Shavasana. Give your shoulders a tuck under. And how could you be 1 or 2% more comfortable? And then take a deep breath in through your nose. Give yourself a sigh or exhale out the mouth. And it doesn't take hours and hours of mobility to see benefits. Short, frequent sessions is all you need to improve or maintain what you have. And when we don't use it, we lose it. So take all the rest you need on your back here. Feel no rush to get going, especially if you feel really busy. See if you can just stay for that extra minute or two in your breath.